was a small country town.
Yeah.
It was a city because it's a cathedral
It had
city.
a cathedral, yes.
And this is what I always said, and people come along, maybe strangers coming into the town, they would have said, oh, the village is quite nice and what, you know, but it's not a village, it's a city.
It's a city.
So the streets and that were more or less cobbled, and the footpaths were cobbled,
Yeah.
and that. There were still horses and carts coming and going, and then there was a few tractors sort of come in on the thing, and they still had the market day in the town once a month, and they graded the cattle.
Right.
In the square.
So all the cattle were actually in the square.
They were actually in the square.
Around the town hall where the town hall is. My goodness.
There was a grocer in Meeting Street, I'll not name him, but his wife, she was always complaining about the muck and dirt that was sort of left on the footpaths and one thing and another. And then finally, after a lot of years, they got rid of the grading the cattle in the town.
Right. Okay.
So there used to be a pig sale in the inner market, and a sheep sale now and again. The market stalls, they were more or less in the market on the right hand side, or the left hand side if you're looking at the front of the town hall.
Yes.
They would have had the men with their stalls and that, and then finally they came in their lorries or their vans, and they just opened up and sold their wares. They've come from quite a bit in Uri and Belfast and all around.
Right. Okay. So it was a big occasion. The market day was a big occasion.
It was.
And would have people coming in from the countryside?
Well, the people all
for the market
they were coming in, you see, for their groceries.
Yes.
And they would have come in, and the wife and the family were in the cart along with them.
Yeah.
Then they would have dropped them off, and they would have went and parked their cart and their horse up in the Crown Hotel.
And whereabouts was that?
It was just in Meeting Street.
Right. Okay.
At the West End corner, as they used to call it.
Right.
And it's still there today. It's closed up. And another place was the Wellington Hotel in Princess Street.
Yes.
And they put their horses and that in there and
stabled
them more or less. And the blacksmith was there as well.
Yeah.
And they maybe showed the horses. And that
Okay.
when they were there.
Very good.
And when I used to be up during the school holidays, I used to go spend a lot of time about the blacksmiths and that.
Oh, did you? Right.
Painted the horses' hooves after they put new shoes on them.
Oh, right, okay. That's very good.
The station was always used up until it closed.
You're right.
In 1955 or so, and this was the small train that run. Actually, it was more or less like a bus
on rails. Yeah.
And but the train was used up until it closed, and
that was about 1950, early 1950s.
Yeah, the early 50s.
About 54, 55.
And the troop trains used to travel through at a wonderful rate.
Oh, did they? Right, at a good speed.
Good speed.
I'm sure they would have been big long trains, would they?
They would.
Was there a cinema there?
That was Dale's Cinema, and it was run every night in the week, and the film changed twice it used to be one a film up to Wednesday, and then from Thursday to Saturday.
All right, okay.
It was a different one.
And was it well attended?
It was, yes.
Yeah.
There was about 400 or
Right,
so.
okay.
Oh,
That'll be very good. Very 400 and very good.
Thing come up about the fire service. I sort of applied to see if I could get into it,
Yes.
and I was too young at the start.
Right.
So I got in when I was 18,
Right, okay.
and we weren't paid at the time.
It was all
a voluntary
thing. Right,
with,
okay. And where was the fire station in those days?
it was in Hills Entry.
Whereabouts is that? That's just off Church Street, is that right?
Just off Banbridge Road.
Right.
Turn round Baxter's office.
Right.
And there's the entry goes down there.
All right. And that was the
was the fire station.
That was the fire station.
And it was a Ford V8 converted car.
Was it? Right.
With a canopy on the back of it for the crew, and a trailer pump on it.
All right. Okay.
We weren't very often out at all, other than out at McConville Scotch Mill.
Right. Okay.
When they would have burned the shows.
Right. Okay.
They
thing go out of control, or
it sort of got out of control.
Right.
You know what these things
yes,
are.
Yes.
And you would have spent a night or two at it, damping it down, and one thing or for the blackout. And
oh, I see.
well, the siren operated. The fire station first of all moved to the Carlisle's coal yard across just for the where the rector's house is, or residence.
Yes.
There's a place there.
All right. Okay.
Because we'd got a bigger tender.
Right. Okay.
And we couldn't get it reversed into the house entry.
Yes.
And we moved over there.
Right. Okay.
And then finally the fire authority in their wisdom built us a fire station in Gallow Street.
All right. Okay.
A purpose-built station.
Right.
And then after a few years, they built us the other one down on the Ballinge Road.
Right.
I got to the level of a sub-officer in charge of the station.
Right, okay.
And I carried on at that for a number of years, and then in 1980 we were turned out to a fatal fire in Banbridge.
Right.
So we had an accident on the way to that.
Oh dear, right, okay.
Fire, so I was pretty badly injured.
Right.
And that finished my career in the fire service, and it also finished my career in my work.
Oh, right, okay, so. Yeah.
Award the BEM. It was for services to the community, and that for
in the fire service.
In the fire service.
Yes. Okay, that's good.
And also the Queen's 20-year medal.
Ah, right. Okay. Very good.
But, at about 36 years.
36 years. Oh, that's great. That's good.
And I would have had a year or two more of one of the.
If you hadn't had the accident.
If I hadn't had the accident.
Well, that's right.